Today, I'm going to show you how easy it is to open an account with Darwinex Zero, download and set up the platform, and get a free EA from the MQL5 Marketplace to trade. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to the Darwinex Zero homepage, and you can do that by clicking on the link in the description below the video, and that'll bring you to the homepage. From there, you're going to click on sign up, and then we're going to put in our email address here. I'm going to put in a username, just accept the terms and conditions. What I'm going to do as well is we need to select the assets and the platform that we want to trade. So I'm going to select MetaTrader 5 and Forex and CFDs. You'll see why in a little bit when I show you the robot that I have selected. Now, if you've clicked on the link below the video, this will be automatically filled in. If it's not, then just fill it in, Petco_20, click on apply, and what you'll see now is that it's gone down from $43 to $34. You will get the fee either in euros or dollars. It'll either be 38 euros or $43, just depending on where you are and how it does the conversion for you. But with a discount, you can see that I've got 20% off. So I'm going to click on continue. Everything looks good. The next screen that we get to is just where we have to fill in our details. So I'm just going to quickly autofill all of this in. We put in our credit card number, filled in all my details. I'm just going to need to verify this with my phone. And that's it. Payment is completed successfully. I'm almost there. I just need to verify my email address. So I will do that very quickly. I've got an email from Darwinex who wants me to set a password. So I'm going to set a password quickly. All right, looks like we are good to go. All right, guys, and that's it. And once you're in, you've confirmed your email address and your payment has gone through, you will get provided with your account details. So I have my MT5 login, the account number, I have the master password, and then it gives me the server. So the next thing we need to do is we need to download MetaTrader. So I'm going to download MetaTrader 5 for Windows. However, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to now switch to the VPS. So let's bring the VPS onto the screen here. We are going to first start by opening up the Darwinex Zero homepage. So what I want to do is download the platform first. So let's go to get started. We're going to click on the three dots here. We're going to go to download terminal, and here we are going to select MetaTrader 5 for Windows. Okay, downloads pretty quickly. I'm going to open it. I'm going to show you how I set it up, and obviously you can do it this way if you want to. Because I'm going to be running several MetaTraders, and I already have a few, and I'll show you that in a second. So what I like to do is I normally just keep it in the program files folder. But then what I do is I kind of just add something so I know what it's for. So this one's going to be MetaTrader 5, and on here I'm going to be running the Dark Rio robot, and I'll show you that shortly as well. Okay, we don't need to open the website when we're done. We'll simply click on next. It installs really very, very quickly. Click on finish, and that's it. We are now officially connected. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close these here because we don't need them. We're going to open just the one that we need. So the next thing that we need to do is download the robot that we're going to use. Now the robot that I have selected is called the Dark Rio. I'll show that to you in a second. I'll show you what we've done to make life a little bit easier for you. So if you go to EA Trading Academy, I'm going to show you exactly how to get the free expert advisor. Just click on the link in the description below, and that will take you to this page here, right? Once you get here, simply you can see that it's a free robot. Just click on add to cart. If you haven't registered an account, you will be required to register an account on the website, but that's really just your name and email address. It's really quick and really easy to do. Now what we've done is it's been added to my cart. I'm going to view the cart. You can see that the robot has been added to my cart. I'm going to click on proceed to checkout. All my details are there. You can see that it's zero. I've read and agreed to the website terms and conditions. I'm going to place my order. And then once you click on place order, it'll take you to this page here. And this is where we've made it a little bit easier for you guys. So here, you can actually choose which one you want to use. Some of you might be trading on MetaTrader 4. Some of you might be trading on MetaTrader 5. As you saw, I downloaded MetaTrader 5. So I'm going to download the MetaTrader 5 version. And then it takes you to the MQL5 Marketplace. You do need to have an account here. So you will need to just register an account, which again is a pretty easy process. And you can see that it takes you to Dark Rio MT5. But now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy this address here, because remember that we are doing this on the VPS. And you'll see why in a second. We have to do all of this on the same machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to another browser tab here. I'm going to just paste that in there. Once you click on download, what you'll see it'll happen, it'll ask you if you have a MetaTrader 5 installed or not. I do have a MetaTrader 5 installed, so I'm going to click on it. The first thing I need to do is put in my login details, so let me do that. I am now logged in. That's it. It's installed. We can close that. We don't need it. First thing you're going to do before you do anything else is you're going to enable Algo trading. In MetaTrader 4, this is called auto trading. Let's take a few steps back, and I'm going to show you why I selected this particular robot. So when I was looking for a robot, we're back on the MQL5 Marketplace. When you go to MQL5 Marketplace, there are a number of options. Okay, let's go back to the home page. Now I'm going to go to the market. I'm going to click on experts, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just look at the free experts. You can see that the one in first place is the Dark Venus. We have traded the Dark Venus before. It did quite well for us. However, because we've traded before, I wanted to have a look if the developer had anything else. So if I click on the robot, and then I can click on the developer's name, you'll see that he's got a whole bunch of other robots. Some are free, but most are paid. What I noticed was he's got the dark rear. All right, so this is the MT5. This is the one that we looked at, and you can see that's got a very good rating, 4.67 out of 5. And sometimes these are manipulated, but in the case of this developer, I don't believe that it is. So if we look at the rate, it's 4.7, and there's 81 reviews. So that's pretty good. So I figured, let me give it a chance. Another thing I looked at is the backtest. This looks like a very, very smooth equity line. Now, guys, the truth is this, is that the only time you will get an equity line like this is if you're trading a grid robot. And grid robots are risky, which is why I'm trading it on a Darwinex account. Because if I trade it in a live account, there's always the risk of me losing my capital. However, in a Darwinex Zero account, it gives me the option to put it in. And the only thing I'm really risking is the 38 euros a month. So you can lose it. And of course, it wouldn't be great to lose it. And the preference is to make money and build allocations. If you want to test certain things and you want to test it in a live environment rather than on a demo account, something like Darwinex Zero really is best. So coming back to it, I really like the equity line and I like the reviews. And I know the developer from one of his other robots. Now, what I did was 2 days ago, I actually installed this EA on a demo account. Now, what you'll see is that, in fact, it was only yesterday. So since yesterday, it's made about $23 in my account, which really isn't much. However, the reason that I have decided to put it onto my Darwinex Zero account so quickly is because what I wanted to do was compare the backtest results that the vendor showed on MQL5. And if they matched or if they looked similar, I could believe that that is probably quite accurate. So the next question is, of course, how do you backtest? Well, I mean, it's really very easy. Simply right click on the expert and you click test. But I'm not going to do it here. I actually want to test that in Darwinex. The reason for that is that when you're trading with different brokers, you'll have different trading conditions. So while an EA might perform exceptionally well with one broker, it might not perform as well with the other. So something else that I wanted to show you is if we just quickly go back to the page, you'll see that normally it'll actually tell you which assets and which time frames you should use this on. So here it says the recommended time frame depends on your settings, but you can use M15, H1, H4, and all other time frames with the appropriate settings, and the expert can go on Euro Dollar, Aussie Dollar, Euro Swiss, and Dollar Yen. I'm going to just kind of keep it on the first one, so M15 on Euro Dollar, and let's see what happens in the backtest. So the first thing we need to do is we need to find the asset in our Market Watch window. Now, as a little tip, what you can do is if you don't see an asset that you want to trade, click on Show All, and then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to click on Euro USD. Now, all we're going to do is just drag it onto the gray area here, and there's our chart. Right now, it's on H1. I'm going to change that to M15, and once again, algo trading is enabled. Right, so the next step is to backtest it, as I said. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on the expert advisor. I'm going to click on test. What you'll see is that I get this window that opens up at the bottom. So let's just adjust it. So the symbol we said was Euro Dollar. The time frame is M15. I'm just going to test it for the last year, or let's say for the last 10 months from the beginning of the year. Zero latency. I'm going to start with $100,000 because that is the capital that I get to start trading with on Darwinex Zero. My leverage on Darwinex is a little bit low, so I'm going to put this down to 1 to 30, but I'm going to put it down on, let's say, 1 to 25. I'm going to just err on the side of caution. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just check the inputs, just make sure everything's here. Now, in the expert advisor, which I'll show you after the backtest, you can set a number of the settings. But what I want to just have a look at is if there's anything that kind of jumps out at me in terms of what I want to change, right? So risk percent, 1%. I think I might actually increase that to, let's say, 2% per trade. Another thing to be aware of when you're trading any kind of grid system is the maximum buy and maximum sell. If you make this too high, you risk blowing your account because the account might keep opening orders in the opposite direction. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go back to settings, and then we're going to just click on start. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the graph. That's interesting. You see there's a drawdown. Now this might look quite bad, but actually if we look at the overall percentage, you see that the count is on 100,000. They went down to about 98,700. So it's about 1.5%. So it doesn't look very good, but it's actually really not bad at all. If we look at the backtest output, it actually does look quite similar to the developers. I might still play around with the settings, and you can do that as well on the backtest. There was obviously a little bit of a drawdown here, but again, this is really about 1.5%. I mean, this is really nothing. This is completely acceptable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the backtest, and I'm going to place the EA onto the chart. Now, if you remember, a few minutes ago, I said to you, you need to be aware of the settings. So we're going to just drop it on there, and you do that just by dragging it on, right? We're going to go to the inputs, and this is very similar. You'll see the settings that we saw in the backtest. Let's just quickly go through here and see if there's anything we might have missed. So this is actually what we were looking for earlier. So my lot is 0.01. What I might do with that is increase it to 0.02, but I'll do that after I run a backtest. Risk percent, if you remember, I put it on 2, so I'm just going to set that to 2. And everything else I'm going to leave default. And then I'm going to monitor it for a while. I'm going to see what it does, and yeah, we'll take it from there. Right, so I'm going to click on OK. You can see that it has attached to the chart. What we're looking for is this little blue hat in the top right-hand corner. This means that it has attached and is working successfully. So let's see together how this will go. Stay tuned and check out this video over here if you want to learn more about Darwinex Zero. Trade safe.